Welcome to the whole 9 yards. Hello again, everybody. I'm Ralph Ventre here with a postseason edition of the whole 9 yards. We have an FCS first round playoff game to tackle. Sacred Heart will face Fordham in that one. We'll talk about that in just a bit. But first, let's take a quick look back on what happened during Week 13 on the gridiron. Sacred Heart was not in action. The Pioneers clinched the NEC's automatic bid with a win over Bryant in Week 12. Bryant, though, was hosting Wagner in a regular season finale that had championship implications. The winner of the Bryant-Wagner game automatically earned a share of the NEC title alongside Sacred Heart. Up to Smithfield we go, and you'll see Bryant jumping ahead here midway through the fourth quarter on this awesome hook and ladder play. 20-16 Bulldogs. But the Seahawks weren't done. They wanted this one as well. A 9-play, 65-yard drive that was capped on this 3-yard touchdown with 44 seconds to go proved to be the difference. Wagner pulls out a 23-20 road win and earns a share of the NEC title for the second time in the last 3 seasons. Congratulations to the Wagner Seahawks and their legendary head coach, Walt Hamline. As you may have heard, Hamline is deciding to hang him up after 34 years on the sidelines. 222 wins later, Hamline is retiring as Wagner's head football coach, but he will remain the school's athletics director. Congratulations to Wagner and Walt Hamline on their second conference crown since 2012. Now, on to the postseason, where Sacred Heart will face Fordham in a grudge match. Yes, these two teams met last year in the FCS first round, and they'll do it again November 29th, 12 noon Eastern Time on ESPN3. Let's take a deeper look into this matchup with our No Huddle preview. It'll be a battle of 2 top 25 teams, number 12 Fordham hosting number 22 Sacred Heart. The visiting Pioneers will be looking for their 3rd win over a top 25 opponent this season. Of course, they knocked off Delaware on the road in non-conference play and then beat nationally ranked Bryant in Week 12 to clinch the NEC's automatic bid to the playoffs for the 2nd straight season. It was late November last year when these two teams clashed in the Bronx. Sacred Heart took the early lead, but Fordham found itself ahead in the fourth quarter, hanging on for a 37-27 victory. It didn't sit well with Sacred Heart linebacker Kevin Barry.
Yeah, it was a heartbreaking loss last year. We played our hearts out against Fordham. Just came up 10 points short. We fought to the very end, but I wouldn't say there's it definitely was a missed opportunity, but I think we're just as hungry as this year to go into the playoffs and try and get past that first round.
This year's battle features one of the most potent offenses in the FCS, the Fordham Rams, against one of the stingiest defenses in the football championship subdivision, the Sacred Heart Pioneers. Fordham ranks 5th overall in total offense, over 500 yards per game. Most of that comes through the air. Michael Niebrick leads a passing attack that averages 331 yards per contest. That's ranked 3rd in the nation. Last year, Fordham and Sacred Heart combined for over 950 yards of total offense, with Fordham eclipsing the 500-yard mark in that playoff victory. Many of the same characters are back for the Rams. Of course, the aforementioned Niebrick, the transfer quarterback from UConn, wide receiver Tabucky Jones Jr., Sam Ajala, another wide receiver, and Brian Wetzel, who provides another capable target for the dangerous Niebrick. The Sacred Heart secondary will certainly have its hands full come Saturday, but Pat Casey has confidence in that veteran group.
They all do a great job getting turnovers, and when they get turnovers, it's easy for us to answer off that, and that really affects teams when you score off of turnovers.
That secondary anchors one of the top defenses in the FCS. Sacred Heart ranks 5th overall in yards allowed per game and 6th in the nation in terms of scoring defense. The key on Saturday, though, just like it was last year, it will probably be turnovers. Sacred Heart lost by 10 at Fordham last season. They also lost the turnover battle in that game by a 4-1 margin. This season, in Sacred Heart's 2 biggest victories, at Delaware and against Bryant, they were even in the turnover battle, but they had 2 key interceptions in the red zone in both contests. That kind of epitomizes this bend but don't break Sacred Heart defense. The Pioneers are the top red zone defense in the country, allowing teams to put points on the board in fewer than 45% of their trips inside of the Pioneers' 20. Quite remarkable that they lock down when times get tough. And Sacred Heart can move the ball as well. They're not all defense. They have a 2-headed tandem in the backfield. Veterans Sean Bell and Kashada Spence. Quarterback R.J. Noel can carry the ball. He scored a touchdown on the ground in last year's playoff game at Fordham. Then, of course, there's Tyler Doobie, the all-everything wide receiver who all he did this season was catch meaningful touchdowns. The game winner at Delaware, the last-second game winner at Duquesne, and how can we forget Doobie's game winner against Bryant? Plenty of talent, plenty of weapons on both sides of this first-round matchup. Both teams have been there before. They're familiar with one another. A lot of common opponents. It's shaping up to be a great first-round matchup. Sacred Heart Fordham, 12 p.m., November 29th, ESPN 3. Now, it's time for a Twitter timeout. Since it's the postseason, we'll give you a double bonus. 2 tweets to look at today. First of all, SHU versus Fordham is going to be a game. Yeah, you got that right. It will be a game. It'll be a playoff game, and we think it's going to be one heck of a game. So don't forget to tune in on ESPN 3, November 29th, 12 noon. And then here's a tweet for some advice for those of you who plan on attending this Fordham Sacred Heart game. I was at the game last year, and yes, it was a bit nippy outside in the Bronx. We expect a similar forecast for this Saturday's game. The good news, though, last year's game was a night game. At least this game will be played with some sunshine. There is some good news, though. Last year's game was a primetime affair under the lights. At least this year's matchup will be played under sunny skies in the Bronx. Now let's take a quick look at some X's and O's. We'll feature one Sacred Heart defensive player and another guy on the offensive side of the ball. First on offense, it's senior H-back Pat Casey. Casey isn't exactly known for his pass-catching ability, but he had this huge touchdown grab in Sacred Heart's win over Bryant. The senior H-back, hybrid back that is, describes himself as a jack of all trades of sorts.
We're the H-back, I guess. It's almost like a half tight end, half fullback kind of deal. We just changed that this year, and yeah, it's pretty much, we do almost everything, you know, fullback stuff, we do tight end stuff, we block, we catch, we can run the ball, and it's a little bit of everything.
Now moving on to the defensive side of the ball, sophomore linebacker Kevin Barry. This guy is having a breakthrough sophomore season, as you can see by his numbers. He's a huge piece on what the Pioneers do up front. Of course, they're the third-ranked rushing defense in the FCS. Barry and his mates will have quite a challenge on Saturday. They're allowing only 86 rush yards per game, but Fordham freshman Chase Edmonds is in the top 10 nationally, averaging 128 rush yards per game. So Barry will be a key player in the Pioneers' performance at Fordham. So there you have it, the whole 9 yards on the first round of the FCS playoffs. Number 22 Sacred Heart at number 12 Fordham. We hope you enjoy the game, folks. Thanks for watching us all season long on NEC Front Row. I'm Ralph Ventre. We'll see you next time.